So I am the last reporter, and my topic is all about the phases of the Moro Wars, presented by Shelame M. Corton. So it was the Moro Wars. It was by Cesar Abdi Mahul, and it was published in the Philippines Heritage Sining Lahing Publishing Incorporation in 1977. So Cesar Abdi Mahul, a notable Filipino historian renowned for his research on the history of Islam in the Philippines. It was highlights for his educational background at University of the Philippines and Cornell University. His leadership role as the dean at the University of the Philippines College of Arts and Sciences, and his recognition with the Public Heritage Award for his contribution to historical scholarship. Additionally, it notes that he passed away in the United States in 2003. The mention that the information is lifted from the Moro Wars indicates a source from Mahul's work or a related publication discussing the Moro Wars in the Philippines. So in phase 1, Brunei cut off. So diriya is kanang conflict siya between Spaniards and Muslim in the Philippines archipelago. So it began around 1565 with the arrival of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. It was primarily a struggle for religious and commercial dominance, featuring ongoing clashes between Spanish colonizers and Muslim groups such as Borneans and Solosolnate. Notably, early engagement including the successful Spanish naval attack in 1569, which involved 9 Spanish ships defeating 20 Bornean and Solo vessels. So, diri sa in 1578, ang Spanish yung naglaunch an invasion sa Brunei, forcing the Sultan Saif o Regal, who supported Islam, to flee, marking a significant Spanish effort to weaken Muslim influence. So, more to siya, no? So, ang sa phase 2, dili nag-continue ilang conflict. So, it's about the strongholds. Sa phase, yes. So, dili is kanang the characterized by the Spaniards establishing forts and colonies and colonized in Muslim territories. So, kini nga phase lasted around 1599 and included failed attempts such as the 1587 conspiracy led by Namagat Salamat and Tondo and Spain's 1591 effort to colonize Mindanao, despite establishing a fort under Governor Esteban Rodriguez de Figueroa. In 1596, continuous harassment from Muslim groups complied the Spaniards to abandon their stronghold in Mindanao by 1597. So, tanan is a series of a complex reflected the border contest for control over Philippines territory, dread religious influence between Spanish and Muslims. So, in this phase 3, the counterattacks. So, there are conflicts and colonial activities in the Philippines and surrounding regions from 1599 hangtod sa mid-17th century. So, the first is the conflict timeline, ang 1599 to 160. Nanadira, so mo na siya. So, ang sa diri na pud sa Spanish conquest is sa Zamboanga by 1635. Raids with Zulu support in 1602. So, muna siya nag-result nga about sa 1,400 nga captives. So, again, and next is ang failed Spanish inventions. So, there na invade Ternate in 1603 and also launch an expedition in 1630, both of which failed. So, sunod is privacy and attacks and solo rebellions and Spanish retaliation in 1627 to 1630. And rise of Carch Quadrat around 1619. And lastly, Spanish fort in Zamboanga in 1635. So, kaninga period was marked by ongoing conflicts, piracy, resistance against Spanish and other colonial forces, and the rise of local leaders like Carch Quadrat, who played the pivotal role in regional resistance. So, the phase 4 Fortress War. This page outlined this. So, Spanish efforts to subjugate the Sulu Sultanate and Muslim communities in Mindanao from the early to mid-17th century. The Spanish fortified Zamboanga in 1635 to demonstrate their resolve to conquer the Sulu and Mindanao Sultanates and establish Christian missions. The Spanish captured Coderat's capital, Lametan, in 1635, but his main fortress in Ilihan remained a stronghold. Sa 1638, Spanish forces besides the Sultan's fortress in Hulu, involving both Spaniards and native allies. Quadrats grow strength lead to the peace treaty with Spain in 1645. Though this peace was short-lived, breaking in 1655 due to Spanish diplomatic issues. Zamboanga was abandoned in 1663 because of the threat from Kuzinga, a Chinese pirate and military leader, leading to a post in hostilities that lasted about 50 years. So in 1718, the Spanish officially reinforced Zamboanga's fortifications, strengthening their presence in the religion. So in the phase 5, during 1720 to 1721, the Sulu and Iranon pirates launched a significant attack to dislodge Spaniards from their fortifications. Despite deploying hundreds of war vessels and thousands of warriors, the attack was failed. Around this period, Sulu Sultan Azim Uddin visited Manila, was baptized, imprisoned, and eventually returned to Sulu, reflecting ongoing Spanish efforts to influence the control of the Sulu leadership. The Sultan was Azim Uddin's. So the British inventions of Manila in 1722 temporarily posed hostilities, but the Muslim resistance remained unconquered. Sa phase 6, the Spanish Revolution Sulu in 1851 was a military campaign aimed to asserting control over the Sultanate of Sulu, which resulted the Sultan signing a treaty under the pressure. A subsequent campaign in 1876 targeted Hulu, with Spain justifying the invention by accusing Sultan Jamal ul-Azam of ignoring earlier treaties. Public support for this campaign was substantial, with subscription reaching around 250,000 pesetas by 1878. The Sulu Sultanate, feeling abandoned by other power of the peace treaty, efficiently seizing control. So number 2 is no longer kins but enemies. So during the Filipino-American War, while Filipinos in Luzon and Visayas resisted American colonization, the American faced fierce resistance from various Filipinos groups. To weaken Filipino resistance, U.S. General John C. Bates exploited the existing distrust between the Muslim and the Filipino Christian. He succeeded in convincing the Sultan of Hulu to sign a treaty in August 1899, which effectively made the Muslims in the Hulu and the Philippines enemies of the Filipino revolutionaries. Hence, the phrase no longer kins but enemies. This marked a turning point where former allies become divided due to colonial strategies and political interests. Number 3 is never-ending search for peace. So this phrase highlights the ongoing and complex struggle for the peace in Mindanao, a certain Philippine island with a significant indigenous Muslim population, historically failing at discrimination and marginalized among Muslim fluid resistance movements, notably by Moro National Liberation Front, or MNLF, founded by Noor Musauri in 1996. Starting in 1972, the MNLF engaged in armed resistance to establish a self-determining Moro identity, or a Muslim nation called Bangsamoro. The Tripoli Agreement. So Tripoli Agreement is a Tripoli Agreement is also known as a Libya Accord by Libya Declaration, which mo siyang kalabitang sa pan ay kanabitang which took of December 23, 1972, which agreement was between the Philippines government and the Moro National and served as a framework of peace and enemy and the Muslim majority in kuan. So mura siya kana for peace sa ano bitaw sa kining Muslim groups. Next is federalizing the public. So there is a Senator Pimentel advocates for federation as a strategic solution to peace in Mindanao by sharing powers, respecting regional identities, and revising constitutional frameworks. The Philippines can achieve the most or just peaceful and unified nation akin to the family under the father Abraham, symbolizing shared heritage and unity. So that's all. Thank you.